had to go through a couple loops, but I was able to figure it out.
Great.
Everything, yeah, and I reviewed everything, so we're ready
Awesome.
to go.
Thank letters, scam letters that were made to look like they were coming from city employees, asking them to pay more fees.
Wow.
Um, and I mean, we ask for all the fees up front except for some stuff to do with building permits. So it was, I mean, it was a big scam, and they were pulling detailed language from application documents. Um,
Wow.
and so right now we're just, the agendas are out there. That's what we're required by law to post. But the application details, people have to actually, get touch base with me and get permissions to get into that part of the website. And then that way, at least we have a list of everybody who has access to that page if something else happens.
Right on. Yeah.
Um, so
Who's
yeah, it was, we've gone through a few different hoops to try and pare things back, and finally we had to go to kind of the nuclear option.
do we know who the day is? Who is the day? Who are they?
No idea.
That's crazy.
No idea.
It could be anyone.
Yeah.
Huh.
Call you 5 times a day.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
All the political campaigns.
About your. Board Monday, November 4th meeting. We are in order now, and staff will review the meeting procedures.
All right, so I am going to share my screen, although Jean, you're the only one on right now, but that's okay. You know the drill. All right. So for anyone who is viewing tonight's meeting via ORCA Media, you can participate in tonight's Development Review Board meeting via the Zoom platform using either video or telephone access options. If you want the full video experience, you can type this link into your web browser. Alternatively, you can dial this phone number and when prompted, put in this meeting ID. And either route there, I will get a prompt in Zoom to let you into the meeting so that you can ask us questions and get answers directly. If anyone is having problems accessing the meeting, please email me at mcrandall@montpelier-vt.org. For everyone attending via Zoom, turning your video on is optional. If people do log on, please make sure to keep your microphone on mute when you're not speaking. This will help reduce background noise. And note that the Zoom chat function should only be used for troubleshooting or logistics questions. Questions or comments about items on the agenda should be made verbally. And because I know we have one person who might not be an applicant in the room here, I am going to just do a reminder that if you have a question or comment, there are times for that during each of the different agenda items, and to make sure that you get recognized by the chair before you ask your question. And if you're here in the room, make sure you're at a microphone so that our recording secretary can get the question in the minutes. In the event the public is unable to access tonight's meeting, and I would get notification of that via my email, it will need to be continued to a time and place certain. I'll now hand the meeting back over to the chair.
Okay, let's go around in the room and identify ourselves, our board members, starting with Rob.
Rob Goodwin, Vice Chair.
Meredith Crandall, staff.
Sharon Allen, Chair. Jean.
Hello, Jean Leon, DRB.
Alex Halas, DRB.
Great. Let's bring the first applicant right up here.
Approval of the agenda.
Oh, we have to approve this. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm all ready to swear in though. Okay, one moved.
Second.
Thanks. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, sounds like we are good with the agenda. And let's have Katie come up in our first application.
Jean, you're the only one on remotely, so as long as you don't have like a bunch of stuff going on in the background, feel free to just be unmuted at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like we're all pretty familiar with this application. Katie, do you just want to state what it's for?
Oh,
What?
swearing in.
Oh, yeah. That was, I just said I was going to swear in too.
You
Can you raise the right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. Oh my God, yes.
So we, Vermont College of Fine Arts, brought this application forward to subdivide a parcel that College Hall sits on. And the reason that we're doing that, this is one more project that we are collaborating with Greenway Institute on. We're under contract to sell the building and that parcel of land to Greenway. And we are planning to use the land and the building very much exactly the way it is right now. VCFA will lease space back in the building from Greenway. And really the purpose of the subdivision is to allow for a scenario that creates a elegant financing structure where the building, College Hall, and the piece of land will be financed through traditional commercial financing, and then the green will be seller financing. And so that is the reason for the application.
It was just, was it our last meeting that you were here or the one before that?
I think it was a couple
A
meetings.
couple of meetings ago when you were here. And do we have any applicant or anybody here to speak on that has questions or just to kind of look around at that? Okay. Rob, do you have any questions?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward, consistent with the, the sketch plan, not a lot of changes. I think there might be just a couple of minor changes to the plat, just consistent with like how we've had it in Montpelier, like we've got some setbacks shown on the plat that. I don't think, historically we haven't had there. Maybe it's not a problem, maybe you don't need to be there, but
It's, the setbacks don't really, those can show or not. We have things in our regulations that confirm that the setbacks are for like informational purposes.
Right.
They could be removed because they might
Right.
change. Versus boundary lines are a lot harder to change than setbacks.
No,
So yeah, that could
absolutely.
be, the setbacks could be removed.
we don't need to be though. I mean, if that's.
Yeah.
Okay. Forgot where we stood on that.
Yeah.
And I understand that the current use of the green is somehow covenanted to continue,
It is.
There-
protected anyway.
There is a easement on the green that the condo association has access. I don't know if that is a covenant, it's an easement. I
An
would
easement.
use
I didn't know
that
what
Yeah,
word.
that
I
was.
don't think that is. And I think also, I mean, one of the things that became very clear for us last time is that it doesn't matter what they're doing with that. They're here asking about a subdivision of just this
Well,
and this,
Well,
you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think that, it would make sense. There's a lot going on up here to sort of list out the rights at which other parcels around the college have in that College Green parcel. If there's an easement, I think it would make sense to sort of list out on the plat, for that lot, who has it.
Yeah, because that one is a little different, I have to look, let me pull up the survey notes in a way I can read them.
Look through.
Cause I can't remember if that's in here. I know it's it's referenced in some places, but. Do you remember off the top of your head, Katie, if
I
it's in
mean,
the
I
survey
would have
notes?
said it's in there, but if it's not, I'd be happy
Okay.
to
No, I-
get an updated plat that includes it.
It sounds like it's in the condo association.
It is, yeah, it's in their condominium. I don't know if it's in the declaration but it's referenced in
It's in
the
there.
condo association founding documents.
Yeah,
You know, and looking, having looked through the application yesterday, I guess, there's just so many things that are not changing,
Yeah.
pretty much nothing's changing. So it's like there's not any additional use or additional traffic or change in use or, I mean, so that it really feels like it's a pretty straightforward thing to me.
yeah, I agree. Same here.
I mean, any people want to talk about it anymore?
No.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I think it's not a big issue. I just think this is an opportunity to sort of like, make a clean, organized way to communicate, many of the, the things that have happened over the last few years, to make this all work well. And it seems like it's headed in a great direction. So I think, we don't need to figure that out.
So
Does he say?
I think it doesn't specify specifically the easement, but because in the note saying the survey is based on, one of the things it's based on is the subdivision survey prepared by Chase and Chase, last revised February 5th, 2019, filed in slide 13 of the City of Montpelier land records. I think that's the one that was filed and like then referenced in the condo association documents. I don't think it says, I'm not seeing in here actual
Yeah.
like a reference to the condo association documents, which is where the specifics of the easement and rights
Sure.
would be. So maybe, I mean, I may have missed it, but I almost think if you want to dot every available I, that would be listed here because it does provide some rights
Yeah.
to the land. That's the only thing I can
No,
think of.
I think it's certainly covered. That makes sense logically, Meredith.
Yeah.
I just think it might be a little bit easier for
And-
everybody to include.
Yeah, well, and
make
it
a
does say
separate-
there may be additional easements, restrictions, and or reservations not shown, right? They always put the catch-all.
Joe Flynn's smart, so of course it will. No, but I don't have any other questions or issues. Those are the two things.
Do you have any interest in making a motion?
I could entertain a motion to approve a 2-parcel subdivision of 36 College Street as presented in application number Z-2024-0110 and supporting and supplemental materials subject to the following conditions of approval within 180 days of this decision. Applicant shall record the final survey plat in the Montpelier Land Records Office per the procedures detailed in 4405 of the zoning regulations, including the locations of all applicable survey rods and markers.
Second,
All right, let's do a roll call on this. Rob?
Rob votes yes.
Yes. Jean?
Yes?
Alex?
yes.
All right.
And Brian's actually on now too.
Oh, is Brian on there? I'm sorry. Brian.
Yes.
See you. Great.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome.
So that carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
I will, you kind of know the drill. I'll get the decision written out as soon as I can. And yeah, there's no conditions, pre-permit conditions of approval. So once that decision is signed, I'll issue the permit too. And then when you're ready, you can get me the plat. Thank you. Thank you, Katie.
Get our next applicant up. And I'm going to ask Meredith to give us a brief description.
You want to do swearing in?
Yeah.
first?
Well, either way.
Whichever. Okay. I can do the description first.
Okay.
So this is before the board tonight, this application for 35 Elm Street. It's a change of use and it's a conditional use, so I can't approve it. There's not, I didn't really, there weren't any red flags. There's a few places where the board has to be the one to make determinations. Specific, especially in the chapter 330, I've laid out facts. I don't, we've done a ceramic studio before.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I have included the entire manual on the kiln because that's the item really that has the most potential for an impact on the neighborhood if it were to have fumes or,
Right.
Something funky, but I'm not seeing that being an issue here, same with the other one, but that's why this packet is so big. Because it's one of those funky uses where I just try and get as much information as possible so that the board can weigh what the potential impacts on the neighborhood
I
are.
have to admit, I did not read the entire manual.
That was Berry Street, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Berry Street is where the other one was.
So I guess one question I had about this, I'm gonna let you talk in a minute. So
Asking who?
you,
Asking me. Okay.
it's like, is because that's included in this. Are we sort of responsible for it's kind of upholding the manual on, you know what I mean? Like, do we take, are we taking responsibility for the documentation that he submitted that is extensive?
I
and
don't
well outside my
think,
wheelhouse?
yeah, I think, I don't think so. I mean, it's evidence of, what could be potential impacts is the way I would take it. Like, it depends on how you're viewing it, right? And it's just like when, when somebody submits specifications for the windows that are going to be installed in a house for design review, like
Right.
they're looking at aspects of that pertain to the questions they're asking. They aren't taking responsibility for, yes, that window is actually going to work in that frame. Like the design review committee isn't taking that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that they're not looking at where every nail goes.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Sort of. It seems a little different to me than Windows.
Yeah. It is. I was just trying to
Yeah.
think of something. I
Yeah.
mean, it's,
You know, I mean, I just
the
having all,
board didn't have to know exactly how all of the distilling equipment worked at Bar Hill
Right.
to be able to approve.
But you
That
probably didn't have a
use.
description of all did you have all the distillery equipment itemized in
I
there?
don't,
You could have asked for it.
You could have.
You know, I mean, I guess-
Need to.
It seemed weird to have it in there because it's so much information that we are not going to be deciding on, you know, exactly.
well, right, but then that's also, how am I supposed to figure out what in there you might ask questions about? So I err on the side of giving you more information
Okay,
because I
right,
can't read all of that and know all the ins and outs.
right,
Neither can we.
right.
Right,
I
but
mean,
you
that's-
know, it's like,
I mean, I did.
that's where the public, the members of the public who might be able to read that and pick out something that they
Right.
have an issue with.
Okay.
Um,
All right, that was my question that I
Yeah.
had coming into tonight, and so I've gotten that answered, sort of.
the best I can.
Can you, raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Great, and could you introduce yourself?
My name is Alexi Hai.
Hi.
Hi.
You want to talk about your project?
Yeah, I'm gonna seeking to open a small production studio for pottery at 35 Elm Street. And it'll be also a small retail in the front.
Mm.
Probably about, I don't know, 6 by 12 retail in the front, and the rest will be used for production.
Cool.
Possibly some workshops every once in a while. And for like First Friday, we would do like an opening, that
Sure.
kind of thing. So it's gonna be kind of a multi-use, but mainly it's gonna be for production.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that, I was looking at the photos and stuff. It's where the Elm Street chop shop or barber shop used to be. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's on that side?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it used to be a salon. I understand. I never saw. it.
Angie's place or chop shop, there are two right next to each other.
The one closer to the stairs to go upstairs. Cause the one on the right is the European import store now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the one on the left.
So despite all the noise about the kiln, I'm not really concerned about having one in my basement, you know, I mean, it's just not an issue for me. So, other equipment?
There will be a pug mill, but that's sort of, I mean, so mixing and mixing clay.
Yep.
Reclaim. Potter's wheel.
Yeah.
Those are the main pieces of equipment that I can think of. I don't think there's gonna be anything.
Right, all the rest of it's you.
What's that?
All the rest of it is you making pots.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Okay, so, conditional use for this. This also seemed like a terribly straightforward application. It seems like, I mean, and one of the things that I noticed on here was that, you know, it's like, how does it fit into the neighborhood? And it seems to just fit into the neighborhood beautifully. You know, you've got residential, you've got retail, you've got, you know, I love the idea of a production pottery there. That's great. You know, I mean, that seems perfect. And it's mixed residential and commercial, right?
Yeah.
So it's perfect for that
Yeah.
zone.
Excuse me, this is the right behind Ben Nails, correct? This is the adjacent to Ben Nails Bistro.
It's
right?
like, it's like down the
Down,
street.
Yeah,
You told us it was there, man.
behind, basically behind it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Pull up the map.
Was there a map?
Oh, there isn't really a map with that. I can pull one up though.
There's a picture, you'll recognize it. It was the
Yeah.
chop shop.
Yep.
and Angie's Riverside Hair Salon.
Yeah, let me do.
They're now on the Berry Montpelier Road. They're still called the Chop Shop.
Oh,
Yeah,
um,
Oh, it's, I was just.
Yep.
I thought there was a picture in the application, wasn't there?
there may be something in, there may have been
It's a
something
gray
in the staff
building.
report.
Yeah.
There's a picture of the
There's a
building.
Parking lot next to it, and then the
Pretty sure it is the-
chickpea, and then.
Yeah,
Grill place.
Hippie Chickpea and Bent Nail. Yep, it's right
Yeah.
there.
So,
Historic location.
all right, give me 1 second.
Still call
Bent
it
Nail.
Huntsman's.
Chop Shop, Hippie Chickpea.
Yep, so here's Bent Nails. Right, here's the building where this is gonna go. And the
Mhm.
building that had Hippie Chickpea is here.
Yep.
So there's two little parking lots in
Right.
between.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got the Royal Orchid here, here's the laundromat, here's
Mm.
School Street. There's Langdon, so it's in between Langdon and School Street, right in there.
Great.
Okay.
Other considerations and, conditional use, I think I saw a reference to traffic. I certainly don't think they're gonna generate any kind of additional traffic over 75 car trips in your wildest dreams.
Um. Yeah, it's kind of a process question. I mean, we haven't had a conditional use downtown since the flood.
Mm-mm.
And question that comes to mind is whether just like in this process, we should be sort of just like kind of making sure that what many businesses involved in downtown, I think very well, of raising utilities and like sort of
Yep.
tiering to the floodplain ordinance, just, being sure that that is incorporated into the plan and, and was taken care of.
Yep. So that's a whole separate, so that building actually had the utilities all raised previously before this use came in. So, yeah, that's already been done. And the kiln and the equipment that is being brought in is considered appliances, not utilities. So the extra, the new like electric outlet, there's a special outlet that needs to happen for the kiln. That has to make sure that's at the right height.
Yeah.
But otherwise, there's no other like electrical changes going on in the building. But there's other finish work. So there's a building permit associated with the
Yeah.
new use that's going in that's all getting layered in. But this is a building that had already been repaired and had the post-flood work done and
Yep.
permitted.
Perfect.
Yep.
No, I just want to make sure that what was going on was compatible with that, and it sounds like it is, so we're
Very good.
good to go.
Yes. Oh. It is.
Parking, loading, you're fine there.
I would say it's pretty comparable, given the use of what's happened and the type of activity, like on that part of Elm Street. It's very comparable with, what's been going on, and I think a great sort of next phase of whatever happens
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Pretty good
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any questions about the process? Anything?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, that's totally fine. Just don't wanna, anybody else have comments on this application?
I do, I'm trying to, oh, there, just trying to split my screen. On the application, flammable, toxic, or hazardous substance and waste. I know it was noted only non-toxic materials are used, but from what I understand and from years of an experience with the Shelbourne ceramic clay studio, any ceramics that might be wasted is really highly flammable. So how is straight off, basically it's like straight off the hot kiln, how is that disposed of or contained? Any possible flammable ceramics that could, what happened in the Shelbourne historic building of the clay studio there, someone had thrown out some really hot ceramics into a dumpster, and the dumpster caught fire that caught the adjacent neighbor's garage on fire. It was a mess. So that's why I asked.
That sounds like maybe a raku firing, where you take the hot ceramic out of the kiln and you put it into flammable material to do reduction, what they call reduction. I
Mhm.
won't be doing any of that here. It's all gonna be electric fired,
Okay.
fired in the electric kiln, and then it won't even come out of the electric kiln until it's,
Cold.
I mean, I'm impatient, so it comes out when it's like 350, but so it's like the temperature of a hot oven
Yeah.
plate. or
Right,
something.
right. Perfect. Thank you.
Definitely nothing on fire.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't have any further questions.
This is a small kiln.
It's it's sort of a, I mean, it's a, consumer. size
yeah,
kiln.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's not
We're
a
not
huge.
talking about,
Right.
Right.
it's like a 6-burner stove or so. I mean, it's really a small item.
Yeah.
Such as round.
Right, yeah.
Not
and
like the major English potteries setting up a,
Right.
racks of stuff going through.
Right.
Well,
I'll make a motion unless anyone else has anything else.
mhm.
All right. Motion to grant the request for conditional use and minor site plan approval to convert 450 square feet of space at 35 Elm Street to a ceramic studio with bolt light manufacturing and retail sales indoor. Uses as presented in the application Z 2024-0111 and supporting supplemental materials. No conditions to add on to this.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Hearing none, let's take a vote.
Rob votes yes.
Yes. Jean,
Yes,
Brian? Brian,
Brian, you're muted.
Alex?
Yes.
It's 4.
Yeah, that's all you
That's-
need.
That's all we need. We're good. Yeah, so, your application's been approved. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
thank you.
So Alexi.
Yeah.
So the official, approval isn't until I've gotten you a written decision.
Okay.
So we'll do a written decision because there's no pre-permit conditions or anything. Once that decision is done and signed by Sharon, I'll also be issuing the permit, the zoning permit, because that's got the one with the 30-day appeal period. And then Michelle will work on the building permit too, and we'll get that all dealt with. But yeah. Yeah,
Thanks.
congratulations. And good luck.
Sounds fun.
What's the aim for opening?
Really hoping to get it open by Christmas or by December 1st.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least to have the retail section.
Yeah.
open so that
That's
people
awesome.
can Come and get presents.
Were you able to look at the staff report and pull that off of the pending applications page, or were you not able to get into the pending applications page where the meeting materials were?
Yeah.
Okay, because you'll want to talk to Michelle if you haven't already about the occupancy ability for that small space, because that'll limit like your class size. So she'll talk with you about that if you guys haven't met on site yet. But that'll be probably part of the building permit.
Thanks so
Good
much.
luck.
you.
Alexi.
All right, has everybody had a chance to review the September 16th, 2024 meeting minutes?
Ancient history.
Yes. Mm,
Take a look.
Aaron, you wanna open
Very
it?
back, bottom of
Got
the
it.
packet. The very bottom of the packet. Last item, last page.
Oh, yeah, I did. look.
Yeah.
Move to accept.
Yep. Second.
All those in favor? Aye,
I,
Jean, Brian?
I wasn't present, but yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we've got, you can still vote for them, that
We vote-
like, you
yeah.
don't see any, any text errors, any like copy
Correct.
edit errors.
Right, so yes.
okay.
Cool. Thanks, Jean.
Welcome.
Um. So just to not be completely repetitive, but to check back on this thing, so that whole thing about having the whole manual in there. I mean, I guess I see where I don't totally see where you're coming from, in the sense you want to get all the information in there. I just,
So I could say, you need to give me a statement about what you're doing,
yeah,
and that's all you have,
right,
right? Unless you then ask for the manual in a meeting, and if he doesn't have it handy,
right.
right? If I get materials from somebody in response to questions that I've asked them,
Mhm.
I just put those materials in the packet, because otherwise, if we have to hunt for it because I didn't ask for the full
Right.
thing then, or they,
Yeah.
if they gave
I
it,
guess
if
it
they
was-
give it to me,
Right,
I put it in.
of course.
Because I don't want to be responsible for winnowing it
Yeah,
and missing something that somebody then, like, when I say, hey, what are the specifications for your kiln? And they send me the whole manual, I'm just gonna put that in.
Yeah.
you know, it's one thing if I have a big packet and part of the application needs to be reviewed by the design review committee,
Mhm.
and then the whole thing needs to be reviewed by you. I'll winnow stuff down for the design review committee because they just are really looking at the outside of the
Right.
building.
Right, absolutely.
But like my deciding what the public should or shouldn't see,
Right.
and once the public's seen it, you guys kind of have to see it.
But if the only germane issue was venting, toxicity.
Yeah, I don't know. We could get into a lot in-depth discussion,
Yeah.
depending on who shows up and asks questions,
Right.
and it's just
Yeah.
great to have it there. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just maybe we don't like look at it
I skimmed
during
it.
our initial review, but like
I-
we can at least like pause and take the extra. Maybe
Right,
if we need to take a
right.
15-minute recess. It's like, oh, we better review this because there's questions.
Yeah.
We can avoid kicking it to the next meeting to we needed some more
Oh,
information to go back.
But it's really dramatic when it's printed out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
She knows,
I'm
yeah.
really thankful that I don't have to print 9 printed packets
yeah.
for
Yeah.
every meeting
Right,
anymore.
right. But
Like, but
would
I,
it work to have a link?
it's, I mean, it was all linked out there. For some of it, I could, honestly, for this one,
Yeah.
the time it would have taken me
The link.
to parse out which of those pages out of that manual
Yeah.
I should print and shouldn't.
Well, no, I meant instead of printing.
Just having a link to just an online link.
link.
I can, as long as, yeah, I mean, I could, for in future, if I have a 50-page document from somebody,
Yeah.
I could have that, if people who get printed packets are okay with it, have that only be available online. That's assuming that, that's also then if there's a member who doesn't want it that way.
Yeah.
I'm picking and choosing who gets what in the
Yeah, yeah.
packet.
It's fine. I just wanted to check
Yeah.
out why that was happening the way it was, and I did, and like I
Yeah,
said, my
normally,
only uncomfortableness was like, so am I approving something saying that I've read this manual and it applies to this project and then it's gonna be okay?
I
mean,
I think
Kind of.
you're approving the parts that relate to the
Right, so the venting parts were something that we have to.
right, the
have
stuff
in there.
that relates to the criteria,
Yeah,
not, it's not your job to make sure that that kiln is compatible with the electric wiring in that building.
right,
That's a building inspector's job.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So that aspect is just, it's not within your jurisdiction.
okay.
So is
that-
it a liability question for you?
I was just, like I said, I was just feeling, that was a daunting, there's 2 manuals, right?
Because there's the control board and then there's the actual
Right.
kiln.
So-
Oh yeah, no, I know.
I did, at least look through it,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
It's fine.
We don't have too many things like that, luckily.
Yeah. I've never
Um,
seen it.
2
it-
small pottery studios in town.
I know, which is
Great.
awesome. That's very cool.
Where's the other one?
On Elm Street, where the little grocery store used to be in the
Berry Street.
Berry Street.
Berry Street. in,
Yeah,
uh,
the
light
green-
Green.
Yeah, Green Rabbit or
Yeah,
something, yeah.
And then
Green
Love Studio, of course, in Waterbury,
Yeah.
which is much bigger.
Do we have any further items or things we want to chat about, or do we have a meeting coming up or do we not?
December.
We have no new applications for November, so our next meeting date, assuming I get an application, timely, will be December 2nd. Cause yeah, it's been slow for projects for
Oh.
DRB. We've been getting a lot of other stuff done. We did we're doing a big push to try and make sure we get everybody who hasn't gotten permits for flood repairs. So we actually just worked on doing a big mailer.
Yeah. I
Um,
bet you there's a lot of people still focused on
yeah,
that kind of,
There's-
like, how are we gonna make this work? How are we not gonna,
Yep.
so that I can see why people are not tackling new.
Do you have your own
projects.
office again?
not 100%, but yes, we have moved to 1 Blanchard.
Yeah.
So the Leonine Affairs building. And instead of 5 of us in 1 room, it's 5 of us in 3 rooms. It's much better. We are not all listening to each other, breathing anymore.
Great.
So, we've had one full week in the space, and we're looking forward to week 2 and getting used to the quiet again.
Yeah.
Is that temporary as well, or?
Yep. I
permanent?
mean, this is going into it, knowing it's long-term temporary, until City Hall gets completely renovated. Because they have to go through the full process. And the plan, assuming it's all approved at all levels, is gonna be to flood-proof the basement and
Right.
have non-essential stuff down there, like meeting rooms.
Mm.
And then our offices, instead of being in the basement when we go back in, will be on the main floor. But that
Oh.
means that they've really got to, the basement isn't being used for anything right now. They have to flood proof that and then fix those spaces, move anything down there that's going to go down there, and then renovate the council chambers and council chambers and memorial room
Yeah.
to be office space.
Yeah.
And in keeping with, historic requirements, floodplain requirements, and all of that. So it's going to be a little while.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a good night. Take care, guys.
Bye,
Be
Brian.
well. Be
Oh,
well.
cutie.
Wins.
Brian has the little one.
Double.
Have a great rest of your night.
Take care.
Are you recycling?